Well, good evening, YouTube Railway fans. Welcome to part 2 of the Roundhouse fiasco as it has become now. Give me just a second because I forgot to bring my board over. I'm actually doing something slightly different here. I realized that my workbench wasn't going to be big enough to do what I'm doing, so, well... Let's just say I'm going to be working on top of a piece of plywood on top of the shelving, or the drawer that comes out of the the bench here. I've actually got a set of Craftsman drawers that have parts in them. Unfortunately, only 2 of the drawers are railroad related. The rest of them are household related. It's one of the things I'm going to be working on down here eventually at some point. Haven't gotten there yet. But, came across a little bit of an issue with this thing. I realized that using the... I don't know what I did with it. Oh, that's what I did with it. It's over here. I realized a slight issue with this. The foam core, I think, is going to be a little too thick. And because of the fact that the way my knives are, I think I need to sharpen my knives or go ahead and get myself a new set of blades for my knives. They're not quite sharp enough and they're kind of tearing through this instead of actually cutting it. Probably the other way to do it would be with a pair of scissors, but I'm not so sure that that would... Yeah, I guess it could be done, but you're actually crushing the foam on the inside. So what I'm going to do instead... because this printout stuff, and I actually, even though I brought it up on vlog number 2, I haven't mentioned it here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll do that now. I was turned on to one of the fellows that mentioned when I did part 1 of places on the internet that actually have pre-made buildings, where they've already printed stuff up. Case in point would be something like this, which gives you the doors and so on and so forth for the Roundhouse. Now, the problem is with this site that I pulled these from, is it's more or less a European style, and this happens to be one of the interior walls for the, the very outside edge, or very outside walls. So this is actually the interior wall for one of the outside walls. The problem is the fact that this here is supposed to be printed on 2mm cardstock. Now, I don't have 2mm cardstock, but in thinking about it, I was kind of thinking about this the other day. These might be a little too thin, but what my thought process is I'm going to actually take and glue the paper. And I think you guys have seen me do, guys and gals have seen me do this once before on another project that I never completed. It's still glued down. I just haven't gotten to it yet because that one there wasn't as critical and I really have no place to put it. What I'm thinking about doing instead is using these manila folders. I mean, this stuff's fairly stiff. I mean, it's not real, it's still a little bit flexible, but it's not too stiff. But what I'm thinking is I can always go ahead and take balsa wood or something of the like and kind of help strengthen up the insides of or the joints when I go and make them. Here again, I don't really have balsa wood either, but I do have a decent stand-in because I've got a whole bag of these dudes. These are popsicle sticks. Sometimes you have to make do with what you got. So, because of the fact that I'm not actually ready to really build this thing yet, I just wanted to give a quick update as to where this project actually stands, and give you all a little bit of an insight as to what's going on. But I think my project for this evening is actually going to be to go ahead and take some good old Elmer's white glue and do like I did with that other building that I had printed up, and just lay them out on the manila folder. And I'm actually going to, one of the other things I happen to think about is leaving flap edges so that way I can actually overlap. So that way it kind of, here again, builds up a little bit more of that strength. And then one of the other things I want to do, once I do get this thing printed out, is I'm not happy with the peak. So what I'm thinking about doing, I'm not going to go ahead and cut it flat, because obviously that's not going to be right either. So because of the fact that they actually give you some interior bracing on one of these sheets of paper, I printed out a lot of this stuff already, and now I can't find, oh, where did my internal bracing get off to? It helps to be organized before you decide to go ahead and start the camera, right? And instead of waiting until after you've started the camera, but hey. There's the internal bracing. So what I'm actually thinking about doing is finding a decent spot on here and then cutting that peak off. And here again, I know that no roof, you shouldn't have any flat roofs for this. They should be somewhat peaked, especially if you're running steam era. You have to have some way for the smoke to get out of the roundhouse. So, because I don't know if there is any other way of getting a steam engine out of the roundhouse other than firing up the boiler and moving it, or bringing it into the roundhouse for that matter. So, you know, with that being said, you have to have some sort of a peak to it so that that smoke can escape. Otherwise, you would asphyxiate everybody in the roundhouse, even with the doors open. Probably wouldn't be a good idea. So, I'm still going to play with that, but the thing of it is, obviously, first things first is going ahead and getting my parts glued, making sure I've got enough manila folders to actually glue this stuff down. That's going to be the first thing, which I know I've got plenty of. I've got a whole stack of them sitting back here, and not only that, but I know where I can get a few more. But that's going to be the thing tonight, is to go ahead and glue these things up, give them a couple days to really settle in real good, and then, you know, I'll come back for part 3. But because of the fact that I hadn't really given an update on the roundhouse, I figured this would be a good time. Like I said, in vlog 2 for 2016, things have been a little bit hectic for me, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. Got a bunch of stuff coming up, so, but, like I said, you know, here's part 2 of the roundhouse. Hopefully within the next week or so, I'll be able to go ahead, show, you know, cutting out the pieces and actually starting to build this scratch built roundhouse for what it's worth. So, and the part 2 for the roundhouse, you all know the deal. You wait for the highball, green tracks ahead. We'll catch you next time. Y'all have a good one.